So I have to.
Looks like Robert's not going to make it in
It's
time.
like you're almost like you're maintaining two fronts.
Yeah.
No Robert tonight? He's going to be late.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
gotcha.
think it is. And I remember when I first went to the
What's that time?
building show. And I was going to put
I haven't seen him in a while.
It's 7 o'clock. Meeting will now come to order. The board does not write the zoning ordinance, but does have the authority to grant relief from where practical difficulty or unnecessary hardship would result. The board will vote on each agenda item following the public hearing. Use variance requests require a minimum of 6 affirmative votes in order to grant the requested variances. Non-use variance requests require a minimum of 5 affirmative votes in order to grant the variances. If you'd like to request that the board table or adjourn your case due to the absence of a full board, which tonight we're right now down to 2, hopefully down to just 1, you must inform the chairperson immediately after the public hearing. Petitioners shall do their best to limit presentations to 10 minutes. Each participant in a public hearing shall do their best to limit comments to 3 minutes. All right. As you can see, we have everyone here but Ms. Grant and Gavin. So we'll come to first part, approval of minutes for April 13th, 2023. Is there any corrections to the minutes? Seeing no corrections, then they are approved as written. Let's see. Next, we have unfinished business, which
Let's get a motion to approve.
okay. You want to actually do the motion? Yeah. Figured I could do Robert's rule, which just says to do it, but I have no problem with
okay.
it. All right, is there a motion to approve the minutes as, all
I'll
right?
move to approve.
Is there a second? All right. Ms. Zukin and Mr. Moore. And then all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. Next, unfinished business. There is none that I know of. So we'll move on to new business. Case number 23-05-111, or sorry, not 111, 11, for 503 Girard Avenue. Whenever you are ready, Mr. Murphy.
The site's located at the northeast corner of Girard and Fern, and you can see based on the photograph.
Wait a second. Is this?
Yes, it's
Okay. I'm sorry. I was looking at his screen.
As you can see from the image on the screen, the site has an existing unoccupied, fire-damaged two-family structure. And the site contains 47 feet of frontage on Girard, and because it's a corner lot, it also contains 154 feet of frontage along Fern. Due to the orientation of the adjacent lots, this site requires a front yard setback equal to the new house that was constructed on Girard, and it also needs to have a setback equal to the house to the north, which is on Fern. That house has a front yard setback of 40.6 feet, and a reminder that this site's only 47 feet wide. At its nearest point, the proposed house measures 9.6 feet to the chimney and slightly longer to the nearest point of living space, again off of Fern. And the minimum required setback needs to be 40.6, equal to the house to the north. We will point out that the structure has a setback of about 39 feet to the north property line. So there's a 39-foot setback from the structure to that house to the north. And the petitioner they can describe it a little further, but his design in it being 9.6 feet would lend itself to compliance if, and we'll look to the west side of Fern on the aerial photograph. You'll notice Fern, and then to the north of Fern on the opposite side of the street, Girard. To the north of Girard, there's an additional street. Those two streets run parallel. So if this house were being constructed directly across the street on Girard, the house would be allowed to be as close as 8 feet to that Fern property line. But since this is a corner lot where the house to the north fronts along that side street, they are required to provide an equal setback along Fern, which they are unable to do so based on the lot size. Therefore, the petitioner is here to seek variances in order to, from that setback in order to construct a new single-family home.
All right, is there any questions for staff? Mr. Clay.
Mr. Murphy, just to clarify, looking at their site plan drawing, it's a little hard to read due to the colors, the blues and the reds, but it looks like they're providing, with the new design, they're providing an even greater setback than the current home. Is that correct?
That's correct. The current setback is 9.22 feet from that Fern property line along Fern, and the house to the nearest point of living space, I believe it's 10.2 feet to the nearest point of nearest point of living space. We took the measurement from the nearest point of the structure, which is the chimney.
Okay.
And that's 9.6 feet.
So they're actually making the condition a bit better than what it currently is?
Yes, it's more compliant than what it currently is. And it certainly is in the sense that there was a two-family structure there, and the site is zoned one-family residential. So what was there was non-compliant in terms of the number of allowable units on the property. They're proposing to demolish it, which doesn't take much based on the look of the structure, to build a new single-family home. And the petitioner is also the owner and developer of the home that's being constructed directly adjacent on Girard.
And I guess the last, maybe not a question, more of an observation, if the lot's 47 feet wide and we enact a 40.6 setback, we might have a buildable envelope of about 8 feet, give or take, something like that. Or even less, there's a setback on the other side too, so maybe even less, 4 feet?
Yes, and
Okay.
also, obviously, that's not physically possible to do that, but we require a minimum house width of 20 feet as well. So
Okay.
even if you factor all those things in, even at a minimum of 20 feet is still very challenging to build something of that size.
Thank you.
Mr. Good.
I can't tell, is the new house going to be further away from the other house that the owner just built? Or is it going to be as
I believe it's set, if we look at the drawing, it's set back a little bit
a little
further.
bit further?
Yeah.
A little bit further to the nearest point of living space. The new home, if we look at the front elevation, will have a covered front porch. And I think there's some slight staggering. The petitioner can describe what's under construction versus what they're proposing at this site. But it's unique in the fact that he's building both that happen to be right next door to each other.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other questions for staff? All right, seeing none, the petitioner may come forward, state your name, and go ahead, your case.
Well, good evening. My name is Myra Fayek. I'm the owner of 507 Girard. I'm a longtime resident of the city of Royal Oak. I live at 4412 Elmhurst. Lived there for about 13 years now. I bought the lot at 507 Girard probably in 2018, so it's been vacant for a while, and I decided to build a single-family residential home, trying to purchase 503 Girard for like the last 4 years, and upon some luck, was able to do so, and we designed this house here. I kind of went for a look of like a Tudor-style Victorian home, something that's grand on the corner that looks nice, proposed white brick with a charcoal facade, some gas lanterns. When you pull up to the corner, it looks really nice. It'll just be beautiful. Garage side entrance. Really wanted to make that nice. You can see that on the top. So there'll be a lot of brick in this house. Some nice paneling, some black windows. It's complete opposite of the house next door that I'm building at 507 Girard. But I didn't want to build two like-kind homes right next to each other. I kind of wanted to make it unique and keep because the neighborhood is kind of unique in that way, and not a lot of the homes are the same. So that was an aspect there. The house that's there right now, yeah, there's not much left of it internally. Externally, it's pretty solid brick. There's no basement there. It's on a slab and a crawl space. It's been vacant since I bought the lot next door in 2018. Nothing but animals, maybe, that lived in there. Probably not anymore. Can't wait to knock it down. I hope we get some approval today to do so. We're supposed to close on the 15th if this gets approved, and then shortly thereafter, in short order, pull the permits for demolition and start with this. Is there any questions that you might have that I could answer?
Does anyone have any questions for the petitioner?
If
Mr.
Yeah, Deborah.
I'll just throw it out there. Did you ever consider just tearing it down and having a larger lot for the house you built next door?
If I lived there, I probably would. Fiscally, probably not. I don't know if there's a home buyer that will just buy the lot and buy the house next door. I never thought about it from that perspective to say, hey, here's a double lot for you. If I did that, so to give you some history, I tried buying the lot next door at 503 for years. I couldn't get a hold of it. Then the people who have it now basically have held me at mercy for like the last year or so, saying, well, you might want to buy this because it'll make the price of your house less if you have this next door. So I wanted to try to buy it before I started construction, but I really couldn't hold on to my lot any longer and not build. I just had to build. So at some point I had to give in and build. And at this point, no, I don't think I would do that. So that's kind of where we're at. And the house is 3,023 square feet. It's 4 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms. It's a pretty nice layout. And I think whoever lives in that neighborhood, that's a great street. I've been going up and down that street on Girard for quite a few years. The Red Run Golf Course has picked up a lot of popularity. A lot of the people there, they love the schools in the area. There's a lot of kids who go to Shrine who live in the area. It's a really nice neighborhood, big parks down the street. So it's going to be great to have a family living in that home.
Any other questions? All right, the only one I have, if there's no other questions, is after public comment, which there may not be any, we'll have to ask you whether or not you want us to proceed since we're down 2 people, or if you want us to postpone till next month when you may or may not have a full board.
I prefer if you proceed.
Okay, well, I'll double check just in a second, but.
Yeah.
All right, we'll have public comment. Is there anyone here to speak on this case? Going once, twice, 3 times? Okay, still.
Thanks to Alex and Joe, they've helped me a lot. Alex has been great, and I've talked to Joe probably for the last couple of years about this one, so I appreciate their help. Just to let you know, they're a great asset to the city.
All right,
So,
thank you. So you want us still to proceed?
yes, sir.
Okay. All right, you can sit down and we'll bring it to the side and have discussion and/or motions. Anyone like to, Mr. Clapp?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second? Mr. Moore, I think, beat out everyone else. Go ahead.
Well, in this case, I think practical difficulty exists as the lot is basically unbuildable, as the math exercise we just went through proves. You can't build a 4-foot wide building envelope. I think the applicant, as I also mentioned earlier, he made the condition a bit better. The current setback is actually worse. This is a bit better. And per today's, I think it's fairly modest in size. I don't think decreasing it anymore is going to help anything. So from a current home design standpoint, it's modest in size, and I think you did a great job designing it. So thank you.
Mr. Moore, anything to add?
Sure. Yeah, coming into this, my only hesitation was the requirement that the alleged hardship has not been created by any person presently having an interest in the property, but hearing from the petitioner that he's just now acquiring the property, that has made me in favor of this, and I think that it will be better for everybody in the neighborhood instead of a burnt out house that's currently there. So
Any other comments? What? I too am in favor of this. The practical difficulty is you got an existing house and they're making it better, pulling it farther away than already that house is at. They're taking what was a duplex and turning it into a single family, so you're bringing it more in line with the neighborhood. And overall, it probably making the neighborhood better for this. So because of all that, I have no problem supporting the motion as. All right, seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of granting the variances as requested, signify by saying aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Best of luck to you.
Appreciate it. Look forward to it.
Thank you. We'll move on to case number 23-05-12 for 3258 Garden Avenue, whenever you are ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The subject site is located along Garden Avenue within the one-family residential zoning district. And looking at the site, it currently contains a single-family dwelling with a detached accessory structure / garage in the rear yard. And the total lot area is 11,000 square feet in size. The petitioner is proposing to construct a new unenclosed roofed front porch, as well as construct a 2-story addition on top of the existing house. The existing dwelling currently maintains a non-conforming front yard setback and a non-conforming south side yard setback. And both setbacks encroach 1 foot into the minimum required setback areas respectfully. So first, the petitioner is seeking a variance to allow for an alteration / addition to a non-conforming structure in a non-conforming manner. They are also seeking a variance to waive 1 foot from the minimum required 26.3 west front yard setback, and also waive 1 foot from the minimum required 4 foot south side yard setback. The zoning ordinance also permits unenclosed front porches and steps to encroach up to 7 feet into the minimum required front yard setback, and the new proposed porch and steps extend 10 feet. So the petitioner is seeking a 4th variance to waive 3 feet from the maximum allowable 7 feet that a covered unenclosed porch and steps may encroach into the minimum required front yard setback area. Just as a FYI to the board, we did receive 1 letter in public comment, which we did attach to the back of your packets. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? Mr. Clapp?
One quick question.
Sure.
The site plan doesn't show it, neither does the demo plan, but the existing enclosed porch and steps, are those identical in depth to what they're currently proposing? Like, so for example, does that porch stick out 7 feet plus the steps? Is it the
Yes.
same condition?
So the existing porch and the proposed porch will have the same dimensions. Yes.
Okay. It's deceiving because it looks like per the photographs, there's more steps coming out of the
Yeah.
existing, and the applicant showing maybe a handful, I think 2 steps plus the porch itself.
So in terms of the existing steps, staff wasn't provided the exact dimensions for the
Okay.
steps itself, but the porch itself, the unenclosed portion that you see on the site plan, as well as the enclosed portion from the photo, will have the same dimensions.
So I guess arguably it could be better now if they're only proposing 2 steps out, maybe some grade manipulation, looks like it's sunk a bit. So anyways, that might be more of an applicant question.
Yeah, other questions for staff? All right, seeing none, the applicant wants to come forward, present your name and state your case.
Hi, my name's Victoria. Well, now Eisenminger, but at the time I bought the house, it was Zahul. So we are looking to expand our family and stay in the city of Royal Oak. So we're looking to expand our home so we can support a family in the future. We just got married last year. I bought this house when I was in 2014, when I was just by myself before I was married. And then I met my husband, and we got married last year, and we're looking to start a family, and we would love to stay in the city of Royal Oak. We really love the location of our home, and we're seeking the variance approval to be able to expand to get the full 4-bedroom home that we're looking for to support staying in the city.
Maybe I should have asked staff, but other than the porch, are you staying within the current footprint? You're just enlarging your house
So
by 2 stories?
we are going backwards and up. And so for the variance that we're asking for the addition part that's going back, we're just asking for the variance to be approved to keep the house the same width all the way back, where the current zoning is, or I'm not sure the exact wording, but the rule is that you have to come in 1 foot just for the addition. So by doing that, if we were to abide by that, we would lose a whole bedroom on the upstairs for the dormer that we're going to put on. So we're wanting to just keep the house the same exact width, just go backwards and up.
Okay.
Any other questions for petitioner? All right. Once again, after public comment, I'll ask you whether or not you want us to proceed or delay till next month. As you know, we're down 2 people. We may or may not have a full board next month, so I'll let you keep that in mind as I ask real quick. All right, public comment. Anyone here to speak on this case? Going once? Twice? All right, public comment's closed. Would you like us to vote on it this month?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. We'll bring it to this side of the table and look for motions and/or discussions.
Mr. Elphick, if I just make sure that she understands what that means.
Okay.
That we're missing a board member, maybe,
Okay.
or two board members.
Since we needed a majority, which is 5 in your case, and there's only 7 of us here, so that means theoretically if there were 3 people against it, even though there's 2 people missing, and it would be a 4-3 vote, which sounds like a majority, you'd still not be approved because it was under the 5. So with that, do you still want us to proceed?
If maybe I could just clarify.
Sure.
I was confused. I was a little confused by that. Normally there's 9 members on the board. Tonight, right now, there's 7. Regardless, you need 5 affirmative votes. So whether there's 9 or 7, you still need the 5.
Okay.
So that's why, because we don't have a full board, that's why the chair is asking if you wanted to move forward, knowing you would still need 5 of the 7 as opposed to 5 of the 9. You can move it back to the next meeting, but we never know how many members will be there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. I still would like to proceed.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
No problem.
Mr. Chair, I have a question for the applicant. I just
No problem.
forgot about it.
Go ahead.
Quick question regarding the porch.
Yeah.
And I feel better about it now, knowing that you're not really making that condition any worse. It looks like you have the porch at 7, then you had a handful of steps that were coming out, and maybe it's actually better now. But it looks like for the ordinance, you're allowed 7 feet for the porch plus the steps. Did you consider maybe sinking the steps into, into the porch to keep an overall 7-foot dimension versus projecting the steps out?
I did not consider that, but it's something that we would consider, where, to me, the porch really was, again, staying in the same exact place where it is today. It just happened that where it is today, it's not like to the standards of where it needs to be, or like the distances. So we're not like strongly saying the stairs have to stay where they are or anything like that. We would be open to
Okay,
your
thank you.
suggestion.
Any other questions? Or, okay, so we'll move on to discussion and our motions. Anyone want to take first crack? Mr. Clatter.
Well, for the sake of discussion, I'll make a motion to approve all 4 variance
Is
requests.
there a second? Mr. Moore seconds. Go ahead, Mr. Clatt.
Well, practical difficulty exists here due to the non-conforming condition. I mean, you're simply stacking the new second story on top of the existing. To me, that makes sense. You're taking advantage of the logical bearing points of the house. To push that over on one side complicates the matter. Same thing with the front. So I totally get that. It makes sense, and I have no issue there. Let's see. So that takes care of 1, 2, and 3. And item number 4 was really the porch. Again, my first thought was the countersink or push the steps in to comply with the 7 feet. But you're really not making the condition any worse, so I'm okay with that. And I also appreciate you reached out to your neighbors. So I think you have full practical difficulty here for your variance requests.
Mr. Moore, anything to
Nothing
add?
else to add.
Okay. Anyone else? Comments? All right. I too agree with what's been stated. The practical difficulty is you have an existing house and you're trying to just make it better. And the porch, actually, by opening it up instead of having it enclosed, actually will make that house feel like it's set back farther than it actually really is how it is now, because even though it's a porch right now, it feels like it's a enclosed part of the house. So I think you're actually making it feel better by opening it up and letting the air in there. So because of that, I have no problem. All right. Any other comments before we move to vote? All right, we'll go to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. Your
Thank you very much.
variances have been granted. You're welcome. All right, looks like Mr. Gavin's not going to get here in time. Is there any other business? No? Public comment. Is there any one here to speak during general public comment? Going once, twice, 3 times again? All right, who wants to do the mystery motion? Mr. Moore.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Oh,
You discomfort.
I'll let him have that. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Sit you right next to him.
All right, motion carries.
I saw you
We're done.
numerous times.